would be for James Wharram and Anneke Boone
Yes.
to build a Tiki 72. A big one.
Kind of James Bond.
I heard something about that.
Oh, yeah.
A 72 feet.
Nice.
We arrived at the Black Point community. We just saw a guy crash his jet ski into the jetty. That's the most exciting thing that's happened here so far. Pretty impressive entrance. Yeah, there was some big rays and some medium-sized sharks just feeding on a fellow's cleaning fish. They hang around made me tempted to get in the water with them, but as Marcel said, maybe not at the feeding station.
Yeah. No.
That would be unwise. We had anchored off the small community of Black Point, exactly halfway along the Exuma Island chain.
Beautiful.
This was Marcel and family's last full day with us. We still had 50 miles to cover to get them to their flight in Georgetown tomorrow. Don't crash.
Wow.
Brakes. Wow. Can't hear you coming. After wandering around the peaceful small community and collecting some provisions,
Listen, see what tree across there? See, look across that way.
behind you,
The tree behind you.
Way over there.
Over there. Right. Over there, yes.
including some tamarind seeds and coconuts,
Yeah, I have the brown one on the tree. You want to get the brown one off the tree?
Nice.
we returned to the boat for the last leg to Georgetown.
So, Marcel, now you're being on board. Is it different than the video? Is it meeting your expectations?
Actually, I have watched all your videos and multiple times. So I already told Stuart also when I just saw him for the first time in real life that I have the feeling like I already know you. And of course, when I come on the boat or when we come on the boat, you haven't really met us before, but the other way around, we have been following your story and we feel very comfortable around you because we've seen you already so many times in the videos. And the boat, we knew it already, and it's very comfortable.
But what about all the domestic arguments that we cut out, you know? When we start throwing saucepans at each other, I mean...
None of that. None of that. We really had a good time.
Think hard. What do you think is missing in the video from what you've experienced in the last, week or so?
Think about that.
I shave my dress because it's constantly open.
You shave your legs?
I shave the
What
dress.
did you change? I thought you said you shaved your legs.
No, I have
That's
no hair.
information that we really needed.
You on the video shaved your leg?
No.
What else?
We could ask you the same question, Nafida.
Yes.
Did you watch any of our videos, or is it only Marcel that watches our videos?
I think only Marcel, and I watched one.
You watched the boat tour.
Yeah.
The inside and outside boat tour. The two videos.
Is Zaya any different now from what she was in the boat tour?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I look cold in the video.
You look whiter in
White?
the video.
Oh,
yeah.
that's the difference.
Yeah.
The way how you are, your personalities, is exactly like how I felt when I watch your videos, I don't feel any difference. And the boat is also exactly like I expected and what I've seen, and now I've seen it, and actually it's even better because now I
Now you're attached to it.
yeah.
Ask Lusanto.
Santo, did you want
Can you
to
tell?
know?
Can you tell something about what do you think about the boat and about the whole trip and Stuart and Zaya?
Nice. Like calm water. Nice.
On the calm water's nice.
Yes.
Don't like the rough stuff.
No. I get seasick.
What are your most favorite things that we did on the boat or stops that we made?
Jumping out of it.
Jumping off the boat, yeah.
That's really nice. It's not. Sleeping was also not that bad.
No problem with sleeping at all, right?
You do a lot of sleeping,
Yeah. Toilet.
Oh yeah, the toilet is the best.
You like the toilet?
Yeah.
There you go, who knew? the toilet.
Saya can cook well, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Saya cooks well. There's that wasn't the wine glass falling over because the boat is rocking, it was just the wind because the wine glass is empty. The week had been our first good test of all the renewable energy systems. 5 crew on board meant more power for charging equipment and running the water maker. With the energy coming from 3 different sources, the benefits of a diversified system were already obvious. It would be possible to do it all with solar, but we would need many more panels and at least 4 times the storage. And even then the system would not be so versatile. We're just steaming out through Gallio Cut, out onto the Atlantic Ocean side, passing between Cave Key and Big Gallio Key. And Tina and Marcel they just made what beautiful fish and egg sandwiches by the look of that, just before we hit the waves. Soon we'll be able to bear away, head for Georgetown and get the sails up. Hopefully we can have a quick run, we got good wind.
That's our route between High Cay and Gallio.
Now honey, I'll take it for a bit if you want to have your sandwiches.
No, you have it.
Okay. It had been a fantastic week for everyone on board. Marcel had come to see if his family would enjoy sailing, and to see a finished version of the boat he'd just started building in Belgium. Followers of his YouTube channel will know that shortly after this video, Marcel and family emigrated to Thailand, where he began building a smaller Wharram to practice woodworking skills before resuming his Tiki. As many wooden boat builders would understand, Marcel finds great peace and pleasure when in the workshop building wooden boats. We hope to sail with you all again one day soon. This is Joe. Hi everybody. Joe's just joined us. He's come from California. Welcome to Luckyfish, man.
Thanks, Stu.
You didn't have to bring us a piece of wood, really. We've got plenty of wood on this boat.
I know, you need fiberglass, right? Well,
What have you got there?
here's something I made for you guys. So there's a place called Boo Boo Hill where you
Hey,
can
that's cool, man. I like
where
that.
you can either keep it or throw it on a hill where there's a bunch of other boards.
Why
So
did we
you
throw
can,
it away? So we're going to go and find this place, right?
Yeah, it might be. It's Wardrick, maybe Wardrick.
Wadrick Wells.
Wardrick Wells. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
okay.
So,
Well, that's
anyway.
good. That'd be a first for all of us because we haven't visited there. Joe joined us for a whole 2 weeks, so we'll take a much more leisurely pace this time and explore more of the exhumas. Joe normally sails a 27-foot monohull solo and has been gaining experience sailing with groups, doing charters, and was keen to see firsthand how we did things on Luckyfish. We made the short crossing to Monument Bay under jib that evening and passed this very interesting Chris White Atlantic 47 with her patented mast foil ketch rig. I'm always attracted to catamarans with 2 masts. They just make so much sense.
Tom Hanks in
whatever.
whatever that movie was. I'll start talking to a beach ball, you know.
Yeah, Wilfred.
Yeah.
What was the name of that?
Wilson. Yeah.
Wilson.
Wilson the ball. Yeah.
Who's this messy looking guy?
You're breaking into our conversation
I
here.
don't think it's my man. I can't recognize.
You don't recognize him?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Luckily, there's no mirrors on the boat.
You're gonna
Well, that's a
scare
lie. But
It is amazing. Joe guessed your
he
size.
did. He got it
Perfect.
spot on.
Yeah.
Very happy when
Usually I do that well.
Yeah. No, you got it spot on.
Yeah.
They're real comfy.
They do look cool.
They're nice. I
You're
like them.
looking
Yeah.
cool with
If I
that
get lost
short.
overboard, at least they'll have a chance of finding
Yeah.
me
If
if
there's
they
a-
choose to go looking.
If there's an aircraft flying over.
That's it. I'll just take the shorts off and wave. They'll say, "There's a naked man waving his shorts at me. Keep flying." As luck would have it, we anchored next to Jean-Michel's Tiki 36 Tigaki, one of only 2 or 3 in the world. I'd last met Jean-Michel on the hard stand in Grenada. We went over to say hi while Joe walked up to see the monument. We're on board Jean-Michel's Tiki 36
no, it's
here in Monument
It's,
Bay in Exuma. And it's a very interesting boat. I believe it was a prototype to the Tiki 38 that we sail. So I was just checking out the cabin, which a lot of Tiki 38 people talk about. Would it be possible to build out across the centre deck area between the masts? And the Tiki 36 does it quite well. Galley in the porthole. This is the centre pod. What do we call this? Midships cabin.
Yes.
Very nice. Really good. It's kind of sitting headroom. A hatch here. Many people interested in the Tiki 36 idea.
Yeah.
Maybe adapting it to the Tiki 38. For a big guy like me though, it's a bit of a stretch.
You just crawl in.
And then watch your head. But this is a cosy wee cabin.
Yeah.
Little fridge in here. Bit of a look around.
360 view.
It's nice, yeah, I like. And you got the acrylic window there at the back. It looks like another sliding one that closes the doorway to make it all weather tight. It's quite smart. Picture out the window. It's a Balance
5 something.
526, I believe. Very nice. About $1.5 million worth. And a considerable amount less Luckyfish. Sitting over their anchor, as we were reminded of last night, but they were pretty cool about it. We just offered to leave if they wanted to leave, so but they were good. And the beach is just out there, Monument Bay.
Yeah,
Very sweet.
we just sent Joe over there. So.
Yeah, we sent him over. No, he went voluntarily. It was his idea to go and walk up to the monument. So that was nice, and we're going to pick him up in a couple of hours. But let's go and join Jean-Michel.
This boat was in Jersey.
Jersey, yeah, I see, yeah.
It belonged to a banker
Yes,
from Jersey.
yes.
Very stressed man.
Uh-huh. Well, I don't know if we'll
But
put that
the
on
boat was
here.
very well equipped. There was absolutely everything with spare parts.
Oh, I see, yeah.
A lot of electrical stuff. He did marvels with electrics, this man. And
Yes.
and then I bought her from him. Actually,
When did you buy?
that was 5 years, almost 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And then I with Anne, we took the boat to Brest
Yes.
and prepare for the crossing. And then the next year, during summer and fall, we went down to Spain, Portugal, and then Madeira, and then Canary Island.
Lovely.
Left the boat in Tenerife.
Yes.
And from Canary Island, we went to Cabo Verde, and there we stayed 3 days. And in Cabo Verde, we went across to Guadeloupe, 18 days. Not bad.
Not bad at all, 18 to Guadeloupe. Yeah, well, I think Ralph Guntert has just done a similar thing with his Pahi
Yes.
42. I think his crossing was about the same.
Yes.
3,700 mile total. Landed in, well, maybe he landed in Martinique. Yeah, Martinique, I think.
Well, it was very uneventful. Really
Yeah.
nothing much.
That's lovely. Yeah, that's the way ocean crossings should be.
Yes. Well, yes.
Mm.
And, now the boat is going to stay here for 2 months in the hole there, and then go back to Jersey, where
She was born, or
Where
she
she
was originally belonged.
originally from.
So the boat is one of only 2 Tiki 36s built,
Yes.
and they were both built by a professional builder.
Yes.
And it's-
actually, I still have the paper, the
Yeah.
original paper
Yes.
from the James Wharram design naval yard,
Yeah.
somewhere in my stuff.
Yes.
And there's carved in the wood the number, the specific number of the naval yard.
Yeah, I see. So James Wharram designed the boat, had 2 of them built by Andy Smith Boats Works in the Philippines, or were they built in England at that time?
I don't know that.
Yeah, interesting.
I don't know.
It could have been, yeah, who knows. But so Andy Smith is a professional boat builder, and he built both of them, and then Wharram decided that it was a little bit too much for the amateur boat builders to take on a project like this.
Oh, yes.
The build construction
It's
required a
complicated.
professional. It's a complicated construction, so he decided not to go ahead with producing amateur plans for it.
But
and-
it's a very simple boat.
Mm,
It's like all worms.
Yeah.
Very simple.
sure, yeah.
Just ropes.
Yeah, it's all rope, yeah, that's it. Interesting. And then, so Wharram then went away, had a head scratch, and came up with a Tiki 38 instead, and looked
Yeah.
at the construction
But
side.
I reckon that the Tiki 38 lacks a pod.
Yes,
like that.
it does,
It
yes.
should. It would have a tremendous success with a pod. And actually,
Interesting.
there is a number of sellers who
Yes.
designed and constructed pods for their Tiki 38,
Yeah,
which is
interesting.
an amelioration
Yeah,
for the boat, because otherwise there was a French guy who built one in New Jersey,
yes.
Jacques Pierret.
Oh,
His
yes.
boat is Pilgrim.
Yes, his boat, yes,
And
yes.
he wanted to sell half of the boat to me.
Yeah. Which half? The port or the starboard side?
Co-owning.
Co-owners.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
But, I decided against, because he wouldn't want to have any change in the construction of his baby.
Oh, I see. And you wanted to put a pod in like this? yeah?
I knew the boat
Yeah.
7 years before, and I had actually tried to buy the boat from Scott Brown,
Yes.
Multi-Hull Centaur in Plymouth.
Yes.
And when I phoned Scott, he said, "I sold the boat yesterday." So,
Okay.
it was, so I had to
That
wait.
was a Tiki 38, was it? Not
It
Pilgrim.
was ticket this one.
Ah, this boat.
So I had to wait 6 years.
see.
I had to wait 6 years to buy her.
Oh, it's like a school girlfriend, isn't it? You got to wait till she gets divorced, and then you can pounce. you know?
Yes. And have fun together.
So, yeah, so you've sailed across the Atlantic with it and cruised through the Caribbean.
Yes.
Now, the full circuit of the Caribbean, pretty much.
Yes.
You've been down to Grenada and
Yes,
now
to
back
Grenada,
up to Bahama.
put the boat on the dry in Clark's Court in Grenada.
Yes.
And then
Where we first met,
where
yeah.
we first met, and then came up here
from Granada with another friend,
Yes.
and we've been here pretty much since then, since beginning of January.
Yeah.
We went sailing in Stocking Island with a fleet of French boats.
Yes.
And we've enjoyed every day of our holidays in Bahamas. It's paradise.
It is, yeah. And your immediate plans are to spend a little bit more time here and then sail the boat back across the Atlantic to
yes, because
to Jersey.
To Jersey, because I need to. I have other plans in my life now.
Okay.
And I have had so tremendous pleasure with the boat. It's time for someone else to have such a pleasure, and it's going to be a friend. And he has already had 2 Wharrams.
Yes.
So it's like staying in the family.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, that's great. Yeah, I didn't think this boat would hang around long if you would ever sell it, because I know there's a lot of interest in what is a very rare Wharram.
It is.
Yeah.
And but people who like modern cats don't like this type of design, because it lacks the comfort, it lacks the headroom.
I know.
It lacks,
yeah, we've heard it all before. Yeah.
We haven't we?
Yeah. But then with all that comfort comes complication.
You know what would be something else good would be for James Wharram and Annika Boo to build a Tiki 72. A big. I heard something about that.
Oh, yeah.
A 72 feet. That would be a schooner like that.
Yeah, sure.
But with one diesel engine. Because those outboards, I don't know about yours, but they cannot run for hours and days.
We try and minimise the use of ours, but you know, we do long runs with them, and touch wood, they've been good. But we keep the maintenance up to them as well. You know, we've learned if you don't, you know, you get bitten.
Yes.
But thankfully we have 2, so that's another good thing. That's why I like 2 engines. If we're ever down one, you know, we have another.
I know.
Not that I like relying on one at all. I like having 2 all the time, you know, that redundancy.
Yeah.
Is this boat gaff rigged? Do you have the Wharram wing sail?
Yes, I have the Tiki rig, yes.
Your proper Tiki rig, right,
Yes.
with the gaffs and everything. Well, that's really interesting, because you managed to fit all that in, and the and I must get some film of how you sheet your foresail on the deck, because this is one thing that I thought would be a hurdle if you did fill in that centre cockpit area on the Tiki 38. Where would you put the sheets in order to control the foresail?
Yes.
And I imagine you've got it all just sitting on the top
There's
of it.
a number of blocks that,
Yes.
that take the rope from this way and that way.
Yes.
Out of the way.
We had to say au revoir to Jean-Michel and Tagaki, but happily we meet them again later and farewell them on their Atlantic crossing. Don't miss next week when we have a wild ride north and start exploring the islands with Joe. Well everyone, we hope you enjoyed this episode. We'd like to give a special thank you to our patrons. It's because of patrons like you that make our productions sustainable, so please, if you haven't already, consider becoming a patron for as little as $1 a video and become part of the Luckyfish story. Feel free to question, comment and give us a like and sub below. Until next time, thank you for watching.